Hello, folks. Welcome to the Smart Home Technologies webinar, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Alex Glenn, and I'll be your guide throughout today's webinar. This is the second of 3 webinars this year that we're hosting as part of the Exploring North Carolina Smart Grid project. The goal of this ongoing webinar series is to share information on how grid modernization is influencing North Carolina's future. If you missed one of our previous webinars from the past 2 years, you can visit our project website here at ncsmartgrid.org and check out the recordings and valuable resources. As I said, my name is Alex Glenn, and I'm an energy consultant and training specialist. I've worked in the energy efficiency and clean tech industry for 15 years, and I'm happy to be your host and facilitator for today's webinar. We've got a great lineup of content that we're excited to share. But before we dive in, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items with everyone. First, if at any point you'd like to interact with our speakers, please submit your questions or comments in the Q&A box in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. We'll respond to as many of your questions as we can at the end during our Q&A session. If you have a question for a specific speaker, please be sure to include their name in your comment so we can make sure they can address it. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on the ncsmartgrid.org website, and we'll send out a follow-up email with a link to the webinar recording. Finally, throughout the presentation, we will launch a few polls to gather your input, so please keep an eye out for those so that you can share your feedback. Today, we're pleased to have Kristin Riggings, Adam Anderson, and Jim Musilek join us as we explore smart home technologies in North Carolina. Kristin Riggings is a utility program consultant for advanced energy, and she has over 12 years of experience designing, implementing, managing, and evaluating utility demand-side management programs and projects. Adam Anderson is a senior product owner for Duke Energy's Power Quality, Reliability, and Integrity division. He is responsible for products and services like smart meters that help improve and enhance the overall customer experience. And Jim Musilek is the Director of Innovation and Business Development for North Carolina's Electric Cooperatives. His primary responsibility is to research, test, and develop new technologies to respond to the rapidly changing energy landscape. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. And on tap, we'll each take a turn in exploring some great content. I'll take a look at residential energy use and introduce the concept of the smart home. Kristin will come up next and speak about the benefits of these technologies, controls, and solution providers. We'll then move towards Adam with utility products and services that support technology adoption. And finally, Jim will join us and speak about a new neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina called Herons Nest. And at the end, I'll provide a quick summary of the highlights, and we'll facilitate that Q&A session for you to ask your questions and offer any comments that you might have for our speakers. So it's time for our first poll so that we can learn a little bit more about you and which smart home technology you're most interested in. So the question is, which emerging technology are you most excited about? You'll see the poll pop up on the right side of your screen, and if you'll go ahead and take a moment, are you excited about lighting, appliances, thermostats, home security systems, TV and entertainment, or whole home energy monitoring devices? We've got a lot of folks on the webinar today, so we'll give you a few more seconds. Up on the right side of your screen, question number 1, which emerging technology are you most excited about? Go ahead and select your answer, and we'll close the poll here in just a few seconds. Okay, you can probably see the results live on your screen, hopefully. And thanks, everyone. That gives us a better sense of what you're excited about. And you're in luck because we are going to be covering some of these technologies today. Specifically, we'll be talking about whole home energy monitoring devices. We'll get into smart thermostats and smart appliances. So this is exactly what we were looking for, and glad that you're excited to join us here today. So I'll get us started with laying the groundwork for today's discussion by highlighting some trends in residential energy use and some of the emerging technologies that are available for our homes. In their residential energy consumption survey, the U.S. Energy Information Administration outlines that on average, almost half of a household's annual energy consumption comes from just three main uses: air conditioning, space heating, and water heating, which you can see over on the left side of this graph. Air conditioning at 17%, space heating at 15%, and water heating at 14%. The remaining share of energy use in our homes is for lighting, refrigeration, clothes drying, televisions, appliances, and the rapidly growing list of electronics, which include computers, tablets, smartphones, video game consoles, and internet streaming devices. Your electric bill is made up of all of these appliances, devices, and electronics. And as I mentioned, heating and cooling and water heating contribute significantly to how much you pay each month. However, the growing number of these electronics that we plug in are really starting to make a sizable impact. As the US EIA says, these devices, such as streaming units or video game consoles, now consume nearly as much energy in our homes as televisions do for the first time. So with the increasing use of these electronic devices and the fact that 1 in 3 households across the nation face challenges in paying for their energy needs or sustaining adequate heating and cooling year-round, we feel like it's more important than ever to look at opportunities where we can make upgrades in energy efficiency or reduce our overall energy consumption. And fortunately, there are a number of ways that can work to lower utility bills and increase energy efficiency. And one of the most straightforward habits we can develop to save energy is just to shut off appliances, our lighting, and electronics when they're not in use, or unplug them altogether. Now, you can also consider replacing bulbs with more efficient ones. So as the incandescent bulbs burn out, LEDs are currently the best option, and they last 20 to 30 times longer while being at least 75% more efficient. One of the things we often suggest when it comes to our homes is air sealing holes and cracks to prevent outside air from entering the heated and cooled air from leaving. Check your exterior doors and attic access points to make sure weather stripping is working properly and that all big holes and chases in the attic are capped and sealed. Also, the air moving through your ductwork may be lost in the attic or crawl space because of leaks and gaps in the ductwork, so make sure that those are sealed. Insulation helps regulate heat flow in your home. So if you have a crawl space or open attic, check the insulation levels, and if you notice falling insulation in the crawl space or thin or no insulation in the attic, it will certainly pay to repair it or add more. With your heating and cooling making up such a large portion of electric bills, keep an eye on your thermostat and try to leave it at the warmest comfortable temperature in the summer and the coolest comfortable temperature in the winter. You can also consider a programmable or even a smart thermostat to automatically set temperatures for the day, and we're going to look at a couple of those smart thermostats in our presentation. When purchasing or thinking about replacing an electric water heater, consider a heat pump system. Heat pump water heaters can be 2 or 3 times more efficient. They use electricity to transfer heat from the surrounding air to the water rather than generating heat directly. These systems cost more upfront generally, but they're cheaper to operate over their lifetimes. Now, I understand that upgrading your home can often seem like a daunting task, but there are many ways to make a difference depending on how much time and money you want to invest. These measures can be good places to start, but also be sure to check with your local utility provider for advice or programs or possibly rebates and cash incentives. So if you're unclear on what measures to make, you might also consider a reputable contractor to help point you in the right direction. As I mentioned earlier, the typical household now uses more appliances and consumer electronics than ever before. Daily life pretty much requires the use of these electronics, and alongside these devices naturally comes the technologies with them. Nearly every aspect of life where technology has entered the domestic space, like light bulbs or dishwashers or so on, has seen the introduction of an attempt to automate the process. This automation has been around for some time, but began to increase in popularity in our homes in the early 2000s. As different technology began to emerge, these devices became more affordable and therefore a viable option for consumers. So today, while an official definition of a quote-unquote smart home doesn't really exist, at its core, a smart home is probably best defined as a living area with convenient, connected technology set up to enhance the home using a mobile or other connected device. The appeal of the smart home is what enables owners to remotely control parts of the home or to configure time schedules for smart home-enabled devices, or to help control cost and be more efficient while providing added convenience and potentially time savings. What a smart home is really depends on what you want to get out of it. And figuring that out requires knowing what the different smart devices do and what the possibilities are. And while the smart home market still has plenty of room for growth, here are some examples of smart home technology currently on the market. Smart lighting often includes occupancy sensors. So when you walk into a room, the lights come on, or when you leave, the lights can go off. Smart door lock and security systems. Many of you might have already installed these on your homes so you can see who's at the front door, or so you can lock down the house when necessary, just from your mobile device. Smart televisions and entertainment systems are common. Internet-enabled and controlled refrigerators are starting to pop up on the scene. Now, also, what's quite common, one of the earliest devices that we've seen are smart thermostats, like the Nest and the Ecobee unit. And while most of these smart home devices, they now actually include a mobile app for managing them from either your smartphone or from a tablet. So nearly every smart home is different, and that's no surprise because homes themselves are very different. So whether you live in an apartment, or a single-family house, or a multifamily unit, you can connect your living space to a network and gain new control over your home. And I'm excited about what's to come as new technologies continue to pop up. And I'm also excited to hear from our guest speakers because they're going to share some real-world examples of these innovative technologies and products that we can all take advantage of today. So now that I've laid the groundwork, let's transition to hear from our first guest speaker. Kristin Riggings is a utility program consultant for Advanced Energy with over 12 years of experience designing, implementing, managing, and evaluating utility demand-side management programs. Prior to joining Advanced Energy, Kristin spent more than a decade at Kansas City Power and Light, where she led initiatives in electric transportation, renewable energy, and smart grid product solutions. Kristin is going to provide us insight into some of the new technologies, controls, and solution providers in the smart home industry. Kristin, I want to make sure you're on the line with us.
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Can you take the microphone and share with us what you have today?
I will. Thanks, Alex, and thank you all for joining us today. The smart grid and home technology combined with software platforms and communication standards create an integrated network for two-way communication. This network provides an opportunity for utilities and consumers to interact in new ways to create a more reliable and efficient grid. Smart meters and systems allow customers to track their energy usage by the day, the hour, or real time, receive price signals, high usage alerts, and even receive projected bills, all giving them greater control over their energy use. Smart home technologies automate the management and control of systems in the home that use energy, such as the heating and cooling, water heaters, lighting and appliances, pool pumps, as well as electric vehicle charging. The integration of smart home technology and the utility create new value streams for load management that benefit both the utility and the customer. With smart thermostats being the most widely adopted smart home device, let's take a closer look at the evolution of this technology and its application of utility demand response. In the 80s and 90s, demand response programs primarily consisted of load control switches that were installed in air conditioning units outside of the home. During a peak event, times when the demand on the utility system were at its highest, utilities could send a signal to the device to have that unit turn on and off or cycle for a period of time. This was one-way technology and one-way communication from the utility to the device, usually using a paging network. Because this utilized one-way technology, there was no feedback loop to indicate if the device received that signal. If it did receive it, there is no immediate performance data to indicate that it achieved the desired result of reducing demand. Then we transitioned to the early 2000s up to 2010 when the programmable thermostat was introduced. With the programmable thermostat, new control strategy is introduced that allows for temperature offset. Now, instead of just having an on and off cycle, utilities have the ability to send the signal to the thermostat to change the set point. This also means that customers now have the ability to program their thermostat remotely. One-way technology is still the primary method of communication, presenting the same challenges as the switches, but two-way technology and two-way communication does get introduced during this time. It was still relatively expensive to the existing technology. In 2010 marks the beginning of large-scale investments in smart grid deployments as a result of funding from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Since then, two-way communicating devices and open communication standards evolved using multiple communication networks. Device algorithms are introduced and refined, resulting in self-learning thermostats that incorporate weather data, HVAC system data, and customer behavior preferences. Thermostats can now be connected to other smart devices in the home, allowing more control through Google Home or Amazon Alexa. The advances with the smart thermostat also allow utilities more options for control in executing demand response events, minimizing the impact on customers' comfort with pre-cooling and opt-out options, while maximizing demand reduction performance based on the HVAC system characteristics. Utilities also receive an immediate feedback loop, acknowledging whether the thermostat received the signal, as well as data on the load reduction achieved. Integration with utility systems allows for smart thermostats to be used for more than just demand response at the system level, but a broader level of load management that includes load shifting through pricing plan optimization and greater control down to the feeder level for distribution flexibility. Today, with smart grid applications and open communication standards, these thermostats, as well as other smart home devices, such as water heating controls, lighting, and electric vehicle charging, can all be aggregated into a portfolio of resources that can be used for load management by integrating with a demand response management system or a distributed energy management system. A demand response management system is a software platform that integrates with other utility systems, such as metering and billing for customer enrollment, device provisioning, event management execution, which could include automated demand response, and performance and settlement. It also provides asset aggregation, allowing the management of all smart devices from one control center, program management, and customer-facing portals and mobile apps. The demand response management system is the hub that communicates between the utility and the smart home devices in the home. This utility smart home network, based on the use of standard communication protocols, untaps a new market of customers who want to benefit from taking an active role in helping the utility manage the grid by bringing their own devices to participate in utility demand response and pricing programs. There are a number of vendors offering solutions for the utility-connected smart home. I'm going to highlight a few of the leading market solution offerings today. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's intended to illustrate examples of the technology. The market continues to grow with new market entries as well as numerous acquisitions and mergers. Ecobee is a thermostat provider that uses advanced algorithms to incorporate live weather data with a home's energy profile. Their thermostats are self-learning and demand response enabled. Using open communication standards, the thermostats can integrate with multiple demand response platforms. The Ecobee thermostat works both with Wi-Fi and the AMI network and are designed for easy self-installation. They also have certified installers available and work with a number of utility programs offering thermostats with free installation. Recently, Ecobee has begun developing a demand response software solution as well. The next provider to highlight is Nest. Over the past few years, Nest has offered their self-learning Wi-Fi thermostat in conjunction with proprietary utility control software. Their platform is widely known for their Rush Hour Rewards program that includes marketing and customer enrollment, as well as financial rewards to customers for participating in demand response events. Nest has recently folded back under the Google umbrella and has updated their business model to remove their utility-specific services going forward and use open standards, allowing the Nest thermostat to be integrated with any open standard software platform. Google Nest has integrated with multiple platforms, including, but not limited to, OATI, EnergyHub, and AutoGrid. Quanta offers smart water heating control and monitoring for customers and utilities. Their software allows utility control for demand response as well as pricing optimization for load shifting. The Wi-Fi enabled control device uses proprietary sensors that discern local and fleet usage patterns, enabling predictive analytics and control features. Quanta is currently working towards an open communications platform. EnergyHub focuses on the network and the software side of the utility connected home and features the ability for device aggregation into a single platform for control automation, forecasting, and measurement and verification. The EnergyHub utility platform can be used for demand response load shedding, load shifting, as well as voltage and frequency control. They offer turnkey, bring your own device program management and have integrated with manufacturers of multiple smart end use products, including Nest, Ecobee, Honeywell, Alarm.com, Emerson, Carrier and Rheem, Sonnen, and ChargePoint. AutoGrid is another company offering a very similar set of product features as EnergyHub, and although not covered here in my presentation today, OATI, Itron, and Tendril are additional leading solution providers in the space that are worth checking out. Wrapping up this portion of the webinar, I would like to highlight an initiative by North Carolina Electric Cooperative, capturing the value of the utility connected home. Among other programs that will be discussed later in the webinar, North Carolina Electric Cooperative offers a flexible smart thermostat program leveraging multiple thermostats and design options to provide their cooperative membership and their members customer choice for maximum program effectiveness. The program currently uses either the Nest or the Ecobee thermostat, each of which offer different functionality options with the ability and a plan to continue adding additional thermostats. Distribution cooperative members can choose to offer a self-install program, bring your own thermostat program, offer a professionally installed thermostat, or a combination of methods. Each cooperative sets their own incentive structures, which may include an upfront incentive, an ongoing reward for participation, or both, depending on what works best for their membership. All of the North Carolina Electric Cooperative's active programs are currently being integrated with a new distributed energy resource management system that will allow for device aggregation, multiple control options, flexibility, and ease of the event execution across the membership service territories. The program began as a pilot 3 years ago and now operates across 10 member cooperatives with over 4,000 thermostats deployed. The program details for each cooperative are available on their individual website. I am now going to toss this back over to Alex for the next portion of the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Kristin. That was really insightful, sharing some of the information about demand response technologies and some of the control solutions that are available in the marketplace. We appreciate that. So let's take another quick little poll. This time, we'd like to know if any of you have a smart thermostat at your house, and if so, which type do you have? So we've got a number of thermostats listed up on the top right of the poll, Nest or Ecobee. There's also other brands of smart thermostat, so we've got a selection there. Some of you may not be certain or not know on what type of thermostat you have, and that's okay. Or if you have just a standard programmable thermostat, you can select no. This gives us some insight as to what you might have at your home to control your heating and cooling systems. All right, so we are seeing some folks with the Nest thermostat, some Ecobee thermostats, and other smart thermostats. Excellent. So there's some good uptake in thermostats out there. All right, and that's about equal in terms of the ones who do not have a smart thermostat out there. Okay, excellent. All right, well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate that. That's interesting to see. All right, and so with that, we will keep moving, and we'll bring our next guest speaker online. This is Adam Anderson, Senior Product Owner for Duke Energy's Power Quality, Reliability, and Integrity Division. Adam's responsible for products and services like smart meters that help enhance the overall customer experience. Adam's also an electrical engineer that's been with Duke Energy for 8 years in various roles in customer experience transformation and grid solutions, and is a certified Scrum product owner. Adam's going to share some details of products and services in the residential market and highlight a new smart meter application Duke Energy has recently launched. Adam, I want to make sure you're online and joining us.
Yep, ready to go.
Excellent. All right. Take it away.
Thanks, Alex. So, as Alex said, this is Adam with Duke Energy, and glad everybody was able to join us today. So, I'm going to jump right in and talk about some of the things that Duke offers for our customers, residential and small, medium business, and a little bit of large too. And as we go, hopefully it gives everybody a little better insight into some of the things that we have around energy efficiency, some of the new technologies that we have on the horizon, and some things that are available today. So what you're seeing right now is a listing of a lot of the residential energy efficiency type programs that we do offer. And so just wanted to throw this out there for awareness. I welcome anybody to our website, duke-energy.com, so you can get more insight, or if you got any questions, there's a lot of helpful information about each of these products out there. But today what we're going to focus on is really the technology portion of this. And so what myself and my team and peers work on is really around enhancing that customer experience and leveraging technologies that we have. And so this really spans everywhere from outage. So we are responsible for the new outage maps, the outage alerts that customers get. So when you get the alert text that says, hey, you're out of power, it lets you know when you're going to be restored, all the way to things that are usage-based, telling you what your monthly usage is, giving you projections, breaking down your load for you, then do payment confirmation. So letting you know that, hey, we've got your payment, because Duke Energy still gets a large portion of our payments via check. So we're really focused here on new technologies and things of that nature, but we still do have a lot of customers that pay us via check. So payment confirmation was a program that really helped them, but we span the gamut of all the different technologies with the primary focus of adding value to our customers and increasing that customer experience, leveraging technology. And on the next slide, we've got a few good examples of how we are actually doing that. So one of my favorite examples to show is the high bill alerts. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through kind of an evolution here before you get a smart meter, after you get a smart meter, and then some of the things we're going to do even post smart meters. So first, if you do not have a smart meter installed in your home, an AMI meter, you would get a high bill alert. And so what this is it's only based on weather data, and if weather is trending hot or extreme cold, we send customers an email with, in the middle of their cycle, so if you get billed on the first of each month, around the 15th, it would give you a projection based on weather data, if there's extremes or not, and let that customer know what their projection is going to be. But it's based on really limited data points. Now, bring in the smart meters. So this allows us to take that program to another level, and so this is what we call usage alerts. And if you're looking at the slide deck up here, so the one in the middle with the two phones, this is now not only leveraging weather, but also the usage data from the meters. And so we are able to really increase the accuracy of these projections. So when we send these email notifications out to our customers, they're much more accurate. We're able to project how much their bill is probably going to be, and it's also pulling in weather. So you really start to eliminate some of those surprises at the end of the month, is really what we're after here. And then brings us to one of the main topics of the day is the new smart meter usage app. But before we jump in there's also a couple other programs I just wanted to note around pick your due date. So now that you have a smart meter, you really have a lot more flexibility in readings and when you're getting that usage data from our customers. So now that we're getting on a daily basis, we're able to allow customers to pick their date that they'd like their bill due, and giving customers freedom for those that are on fixed bills or things of that nature, fixed incomes. They're able to select when they would like to get that bill each month. So we've a lot of positive feedback there. But that brings us to what I really want to focus on today is the new smart meter usage app. But before we get there, we have a poll question. Alex, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, this is great, Adam. So lots of features that you guys are that you're introducing to us to help us manage our energy bills. And we'd like to know what the folks in the audience feel. What energy usage feature are you most interested in? So it could be the usage alerts or the high bill alert. Oftentimes we see ways to save energy in our homes or our multifamily units. Also the flexible payment options Adam mentioned, or the new smart meter mobile app that Duke has launched and we will be learning about here very shortly. I personally find the high bill alerts or the usage alerts to be very helpful. And when Adam introduced the smart meter mobile app to us, I immediately downloaded that, and that's been very interesting. So I know that folks will be interested in taking advantage of that. Okay, so let's take a look at the results. So 13 folks on the usage alerts, some on the ways to save energy in their home, but it seems like, Adam, most of the folks are interested in that smart meter mobile app. So why don't I pass the microphone back to you and have you tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on.
Brilliant. Always beautiful to see results from actual users and see what people are interested in. So I want to drive into this smart meter usage app and what it actually means. So Duke Energy recently launched a customer mobile app that was focused on allowing customers to pay their bill, view their energy, which we were just talking about, so you can see your day behind energy, you can see what you've been using over the past 13 months, and there's some nice functionality built into that. So what we're going to be talking about is an addition to that, where we're going to take that energy analysis, we'll call it, to the next level, leveraging the smart meter. So the goal of what we are after is to allow customers to view near real-time energy usage on the Duke Energy mobile app. So you'll be able to actually pull up the mobile app and you'll be able to see real-time what you're using. And so what this means is, while you're using the app, you'll be able to go through your house, you'll be able to flip on appliances, you'll be able to turn on and off light switches, and see how much energy is being used by each of those. You turn on and off things and see that direct correlation. So it's on a 3-second delay, so it is very close to real time. So everything we offer today is 24 hours behind, so when you're looking at right now, you'd be able to see yesterday's data, and it's broken up at an hourly view. This data will be on the second level, and you will be able to see on a minute level now on the yesterday view. So you're really going to have a lot of additional functionality you're going to see. And so what that allows you to see is, not only the usage by each appliance, but also your base load. So as you're looking at this, you're able to see, even if you feel like you've got everything in your house turned off, you're still using a certain amount of energy. And so that's what we call your base load. So you've got this phantom load, things like your Keurig, your modems and your wireless routers, your plugins with your phone chargers, TVs, all those type things that you don't really think about. You'll be able to see actually how much energy they're using. So we're very excited about what this product is going to offer. And what we are doing is in North Carolina, across our regions, we're going to be offering 10,000 of these devices as part of a technology pilot. And I'll advance so you can see what it's going to look like. So we have this smart home device, this gateway device, that'll connect to your smart meter, and it'll connect to the mobile app, and it'll provide us the gateway to giving us this real-time data. And so we're going to give out 10,000 of these to our customers that are interested and allow them to partake in this technology pilot. As we prove this, because this is a very new way of doing things, so as we prove this out, we're going to allow customers to help us with this and provide input and feedback. Because the way we're doing this is going to be very agile to make sure that we're ultimately providing something that the customers want. We're also going to be doing this in South Carolina as well, but the primary focus is going to be North Carolina with this particular offering. We have already sent this out and had several user sessions, testing, feedback gathering type sessions, focus groups, and so far the feedback has been very positive. A lot of people are excited about it, and we ask and say, what kind of areas do you want to use this in? How do you want to use it? And this is just a quick snapshot of what we're going to be doing. In addition to just showing that real-time usage, also making a game of it, giving little challenges. Anybody's got a Fitbit, those type concepts of, how much energy can you save this week? Pair it with your neighbors, have competitions with your neighbors, those type things. So we've got a lot of big plans for this, and we're really excited to be rolling this out. Timeline. So for the mobile app itself is out there today, but for this real-time usage that we're talking about, this will be offered in the October timeframe for employees, or in Q4 we're doing an employee-based pilot, and then early Q1 2020 we're going to be launching this to our customers, those 10,000 in North Carolina. So we're very excited about what this is, the value it's going to provide to our customers, and the increased energy insight for them as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Alex.
Excellent, Adam. Thank you so much. That's great, and I appreciate you giving us the heads up there of when the rollout is going to happen here for the smart meter app and the enhancement program there. Appreciate that. And folks, if you have questions or comments for any of our speakers, just a quick reminder, up there in the Q&A box on the right side of your screen, please put them in there, and we'll address them in our Q&A session as we wrap up at the webinar today. So let's move now and transition to our last guest speaker of the day. Jim Musilek is the Director of Innovation and Business Development for North Carolina's Electric Cooperatives. His primary responsibility, as we mentioned earlier, is to research, test, and develop new technologies to respond to the rapidly changing energy landscape. Jim's going to share details of a neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina called Herons Nest, where smart technologies are incorporated throughout the entire community. And this is a successful example of a collaboration between the developer, the Adams Group, local electric cooperative Brunswick Electric, and North Carolina's Energy Cooperatives. We're excited to learn more about this today. I want to make sure that Jim is on the line with us. Jim, are you there?
Yes, I am, Alex. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody, and I always appreciate the opportunity to discuss some of the projects the co-ops are working on, and in particular, this project, Herons Nest, which is currently under construction. We're very excited about it. So let me just move. Let me just go ahead and move on here. Just wanted to provide a little bit of background on the co-ops, just to make sure folks are aware of the co-ops and who they are. As you can see from this graphic, the map, co-op service territories really go from the mountains to the sea, and and plenty of rural areas in between. We have about 1 million or so accounts, which represents about 2.5 million individual member consumers. And there's 26 distribution cooperatives in the state. And the company I work for, NCEMC, is owned by those co-ops. So we're the generation and transmission cooperative. We arrange for wholesale power and transmission for the co-ops to resale to their membership. We always like to highlight some of the innovation that the co-ops have been doing over the last 5 to 10 years. Co-ops have really taken the lead on this, and they've done some cool projects and things that we really like to kind of brag about almost in a way. And the first thing we started working on in 2014 was community solar projects. We have 18 sites around the state, got a little bit over 2 megawatts, and it was a unique way for member consumers to take advantage of renewables without necessarily needing to install them on their home. We also have, as Kristin mentioned earlier, thermostat, Wi-Fi enabled thermostat program, and a water heater program. We're using both the Ecobee and the Nest thermostats, and we have a water heater program that uses Vaughan Thermal Corporation and Carina Technology. They're two companies that got together and integrated a demand response tool in a water heater. So we've been using those. And of course, advanced controls. This was also mentioned earlier by Kristin. We actually had a demand response system we put in 2013. We're upgrading that now to a more advanced system, an OATI system, that's going to enable the co-ops to really have more control and flexibility on their distribution grid. It's going to really enable the co-ops to integrate more distributed energy resources. And then finally, microgrids. We actually have 2 microgrids that are commercial right now, one on the Outer Banks on Ocracoke Island. The other is on a swine farm, pig farm in Harnett County, where we've taken biogas, solar, and we've combined it with batteries and been able to make a microgrid that not only can manage loads on the farm, but actually can go beyond the farm and help the distribution feeder for those members. That's on, I should mention that project is on South River EMC system, and the Ocracoke project is on Tideland EMC system. Also, one of the things that we're really focused on now is this initiative, Brighter Energy Future. We're focused on 3 core values: low carbon resources, grid flexibility, and beneficial electrification. This is something that our co-ops kicked off a year or so ago, and they're really focused on it. We believe that it is going to help North Carolina's economy and really benefit the consumers in the state through these 3 values. And one of the things that's interesting too is the project I'm going to highlight, Herons Nest. It really focuses on several of these programs that are identified in the boxes below the 3 values, 3 tenets. So Herons Nest, it is currently under construction. it's a new development. The builder, the Adams Group, really conceived this as an environmental village from the very beginning. There's 33 homes, or what they call coastal cottages. They're relatively small, and the builder really wanted to design sort of this environmental village concept into the individual homes and into the neighborhood itself. And just to give you a kind of example of the features that the neighborhood and the homes have, is each one of the homes has solar panels on the roof from the builder installed. The driveways for the homes have biogrids in them. They're essentially filtration for rain runoff, so that it filters through this driveway before it goes into the groundwater. I know on the coast they're very concerned about water quality, and the builder wanted to make sure that this neighborhood, had the least impact as possible. Each one of the homes has a reverse osmosis filtration system. There's LED lights throughout the neighborhood in all the homes, and there's a dedicated recycling center in the neighborhood itself. So they've been very focused on this whole notion of an environmental impact. And as I mentioned earlier, the project is currently under construction. I think it's about halfway through the 33 homes. I know they're in phase 2. So just a little background on where this is and sort of how we got involved in it. So you can see on the map there, Charlotte and Wilmington, just to give you a little reference of sort of the geography in North Carolina. It's right there on that southern section of Brunswick County, where there is quite a bit of development going on. And this is just another home development in that area. And about a year or so ago, Brunswick EMC reached out to us. They were working with the builder on trying to do some innovative ideas, some innovative project ideas. And we had talked to Brunswick Electric about trying to partner with them to try to integrate some new technology. And they brought us in to meet the builder, and we hit it off very well. The three entities, the distribution co-op, the builder, and NCEMC, we were able to have, we had a pretty good working rapport, and we were trying to come up with some innovative ideas that we could integrate into the neighborhood beyond what the builder was doing, and really leverage more technology that the utility could take advantage of as well. So, I mentioned before some of the features of the neighborhood. It was sort of the whole notion was a connected neighborhood at the beginning. And, each one of the homes, they come with Energy Star appliances. They have a heat pump, LED lighting, low E glass. But we wanted to add more to that. So we talked to the builder about the Ecobee 4 smart thermostat, which is in our demand response program right now. And we also talked to them about electric water heaters using the Carina technology so that these homes could really be grid interactive. And then finally, we spoke to them about getting these homes pre-wired for EVs. That's one of the things we're really focused on as part of the beneficial electrification initiative. And so the homes will have breaker and wiring set up so that if someone does have an EV, they can very easily mount a home charger there. And so we hit it off well. We were talking about different ideas and things that we could do. And then, we threw out the idea, well, hey, why don't we turn this thing into a microgrid? Brunswick Electric was really open to it. The builder loved the idea, and we wanted to try to kind of push the envelope a little bit on the microgrids that we already had in place, because we had the large microgrid that's on Ocracoke, which is sort of a utility scale microgrid. Then we had the one at the hog farm. Butler Farms is the name of the farm, and It was sort of a maybe a medium-sized one where it was a agricultural operation that took into account the distribution feeder beyond there. But we wanted to do a neighborhood microgrid. You know, what about the idea of a neighborhood microgrid? Everyone really liked the idea. So we started talking about it a little bit more, and what's going to be going out in that neighborhood is there's going to be a small solar garden, about 62 kW, and a lithium-ion battery, about 280 kilowatt-hour battery of energy. We've talked about expanding that. The builder would like to do that, so I think we're going to expand it. And then, of course, the switchgear that isolates the neighborhood, and a microgrid controller that NCEMC and Brunswick Electric would have access to, so that they could manage the resources during an outage. So everyone agreed to it. It's you know, the builder thinks it's something that consumers, home buyers, are very interested in, and it provides a lot of benefit for the builder, for the individual consumers. The utility gets a resource that's flexible on its distribution feeder. So we're really excited about it. Like I said before, it's currently under construction. We think that maybe mid-year next year it should be complete. So we're really happy about it, and looking forward to see it come to life. Alex, I think that's it for me.
Okay, and thanks, Jim. Appreciate you sharing that information. It was really interesting to learn about a smart neighborhood and how you guys have incorporated some of the newest innovations in technology there. And that resiliency piece with the microgrid, and how beneficial that will be for residents, right, who will continue to receive power from their solar and battery systems even when the grid is down. So speaking of that resiliency, let's take our last poll of the webinar. And so folks, when thinking about resiliency at your home or in your neighborhood, help us out here. What would be your preferred backup power source? So we've got a couple of backup power sources listed here. Would it be an in-home battery energy storage, or something community-based, a community energy storage system, or possibly a backup gasoline or propane generator? And if resiliency or losing power is not something that you really think about, then we've got that option down there for you as well. So what would be your preferred backup power source? It seems like the majority of folks are interested in the in-home battery energy storage system or a community energy-based system. Very interesting. Okay. All right, so let's close that poll, and thank you. We'll, Jim, thank you for all that great information. And you know, folks, we've certainly covered a lot of ground today, and we hit the high points here on residential energy and smart home applications. Kristin shared the benefits of new technologies and the solution providers that are out there, and Adam with the smart meter application and different utility products and services, and Jim with the smart neighborhood at Herons Nest. And folks, if you'd like to learn more about Herons Nest and how that community has reduced its energy consumption by integrating the high-performance home design with that new technologies, you can check out our website, ncsmartgrid.org, where we'll be posting a detailed case study very soon. So thank you, Kristin, Jim, and Adam, for your valuable contributions for today's webinar. So it's now time, let's do a quick transition here to our Q&A session. So we'd like to hear from you folks. We've got some questions that have already come in. If you haven't done so already and you want to get your comment or your question addressed, please put it in the Q&A box. We will have to move fairly quickly here in the interest of time. And I'd like to go ahead and start it off. I think, Kristin, I think this question is going to be best, you could help us best with this question. This question's come in, and this person has asked, what level of incentives are the cooperatives offering out there? So incentives for any of these new technologies or control, what level of incentives are they offering?
So specifically for the thermostat programs that the NCEMC is offering with their members, again, each member distribution co-op sets their own incentive, but some are offering free thermostat and installation or an upfront credit, anywhere from $50 to $75 to bring your own thermostat to the program. And then they may also offer a monthly credit in the range of anywhere from $2 to $4 for continued participation in demand response during those summer or winter peaking months. But all of those, again, all those cooperatives have the specific details and incentive levels on their individual website. And you can also find all of the full list of member co-ops on NCEMC's website as well.
Great. Okay, so go to the individual North Carolina Electric Cooperatives website to learn more. All right, thank you, Kristin. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see. I think this question is going to be best for Adam. Yep. Okay, it has to do with Adam's portion. Adam, this question came in. What platform does the gateway operate on? And we'll add to that. So what platform does the gateway operate on? And is there a cost to the smart meter app, or is that free?
Yeah, so the first question around the platform made me sweat a little bit. I had to phone a friend, Brandon and Kirby. So it is a Linux platform that we're building, and we are partnering with another company to have that as a Duke branded device. And as far as the cost of the device, Duke will be covering the cost of these. So it will be free to our customers.
Excellent. Okay. And can I add to that here on the fly real quick, Adam? We've had one other person ask here, will the neighborhood challenge be offered to specific customers, or will it rely on volunteers?
So it is going to be a volunteer type approach that we would take. So nothing being forced or anything of that nature. So very volunteer, people self-enrolling or showing an interest there, and we're going to leverage that to do that.
Okay.
So
excellent.
Think of it more as, like I said, like a Fitbit community that you would join and volunteer for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Okay, and it looks like we've got time for maybe one more question, and why don't we try to get Jim here involved. This question comes in, I think, a concern relating to flood prone. So the coastal region of the state, right, has been flood prone in the last few years, and Jim, did you and has Brunswick or NCEMC the developer plan for with the Herons Nest community, how that will function or be resilient in a flood type of situation?
Sure. Yeah. Well, the builder, you know, he's managing the home construction part of it, but as far as the utility part of it, you know, we built foundations for we're going to be building foundations for the battery system and controller that should be high enough to withstand a 100-year type of storm event. Other than that, when there's, if power does go out to flooding or storms, that's one of the reasons why this location was an ideal situation where this neighborhood can be isolated, and it could provide that resiliency to those member consumers.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's one of the important things to plan for, that long-term resiliency. So thank you, Jim. Well, folks, we've got a lot of other questions that have come in, and unfortunately, we are out of time today. We want to honor your time, but we will respond to each of the questions that have come in. If we didn't address it already in our Q&A session, we will send you an email response individually to try to answer those questions after today's webinar. So we don't forget you. You are important to us, and we really appreciate you guys sending in your questions and your comments. We certainly hope each of you found value in today's webinar. Please help us. There will be a survey that pops up at the end of this presentation when we close it down. So please help us out by providing your feedback on that survey. And as a final reminder, we'll send a follow-up email with a recording of today's webinar, so please feel free to share that with your colleagues and industry contacts if they weren't able to join us on the line today. So thanks everybody for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us, and we hope that you have a great day.